The massive ship Bloodfang cut through space like a blade through silk. Its dark metal hull stretched for 3 miles, covered in weapon ports and sensor arrays that could detect prey from dozens of star systems away. Inside the command center, Commander Zythek stood 8 feet tall on powerful legs, his 6 arms moving across control panels with practiced ease. His razor-sharp claws clicked against metal surfaces as he studied the holographic display before him. The display showed a new star system, one that his scouts had just discovered. It contained several planets, but only one caught his interest. The third planet from its yellow star glowed blue and green with life. His enhanced eyes, evolved from millions of years of hunting, focused on the energy readings coming from that world. "Commander," said Intelligence Officer Krex, approaching. With careful steps, like all Vorthok, Krex was built for killing. His natural armor plates gleamed under the ship's lights, and his fangs showed when he spoke. "Our scans show intelligent life on the third planet. They call themselves Terrans, and they have achieved basic space travel." Zythek turned his massive head toward Krex. His predator instincts, honed through generations of genetic selection, told him this would be an easy hunt. The Vorthok had conquered 17 star systems in the past century. They had faced creatures with armor thicker than starship hulls, beings that could survive in the vacuum of space, and hive minds that controlled entire planets. None had posed a real challenge. "Show me these Terrans," Zythek commanded. The holographic display changed to show images captured by their long-range sensors. Zythek studied the creatures with growing amusement. The Terrans were small, barely reaching 6 feet in height. Their skin looked soft and pink, without any natural armor or protective scales. They had only 4 limbs, and their hands ended in blunt fingers instead of claws. Most amusing of all, they had tiny teeth that could barely tear through the flesh of small animals. "They look like prey animals," Krex observed, "weak and defenseless. Our biological scanners show they have no natural weapons at all. No claws, no fangs, no venom, no acid spit. They cannot even see in the dark properly." Zythek walked to the trophy wall that covered one side of the command center. Hundreds of skulls lined the metal surface, each one representing a species the Vorthok had conquered. Some skulls belonged to creatures larger than Vorthok warriors. Others came from beings that could breathe fire or shoot lightning from their bodies. All had fallen before Vorthok's superiority. He stopped in front of his favorite trophy, the skull of a Kraxan Alpha. The creature had stood 12 feet tall and could crush steel with its bare hands. It took Zythek 3 days of hunting through acid swamps to bring it down. The battle had cost him 2 warriors, but the glory was worth it. "These Terrans will not even deserve a place on my wall," Zythek said, running one claw along the Kraxan skull. "They are too weak to provide honor through their defeat." The door to the command center opened, and war leader Vex entered. His battle scars told the story of 100 successful hunts across the galaxy. Fresh blood still stained his claws from the morning training session, where younger warriors practiced their killing techniques on captured prey. "Commander, the High Council has reviewed our report," Vex announced. "They authorized standard subjugation protocol for the Terran system. Its estimated resistance time is less than 1 standard day." Zythek nodded. Standard subjugation protocol meant giving the native species 1 chance to surrender before total destruction. Most intelligent species chose surrender when they saw what the Vorthok could do to their homeworld. Those who refused were exterminated down to the last individual. "How many Terrans populate their world?" Zythek asked. Krex checked his scanner readings. "Approximately 8 billion individuals spread across all continents. They have also established small colonies on their moon and the 4th planet in their system. Their technology appears to be several centuries behind our own." 8 billion, Zythek repeated with satisfaction. "That will provide excellent hunting for the entire fleet. Once we break their spirit, alert all hunting packs. We will arrive in their system in 2 days." The bridge crew began their preparations with efficient brutality. Weapon systems powered up with sounds like growling beasts. Hunting pods prepared for deployment, each one designed to carry a pack of warriors to the surface of conquered worlds. The ship's biological laboratories started growing the terror spores that would be released into the atmosphere of any world that refused to surrender. Zethok returned to studying the Terran homeworld. Their cities looked fragile, built from glass and metal that would shatter under the first bombardment. Their military forces used primitive projectile weapons that could not even penetrate basic Vorthok armor. Their space vessels were tiny things that moved slowly between their planets. "Commander," called Vex from the communications station. "We are receiving a transmission from hunting ship Deathclaw. Captain Mord reports successful conquest of the Zelox system. Total resistance time was for hours. He requests permission to join our hunt." "Denied," Zethik replied. "The Terrans are too weak to require additional ships. I will not share this hunt with Mord. His pack can find their own prey." The truth was that Zithek wanted all the glory for himself. In Vorthok society, status came from the difficulty and danger of conquered prey. A successful hunt against 8 billion creatures, even weak ones, would earn him a place among the greatest predators in their history. He walked to the observation deck and stared out at the stars streaming past.
The blood fangs.
Engines spent space around them, allowing them to cross vast distances in days instead of years. Soon, those stars would include the Terran sun, and his hunting packs would feast on fresh prey. Zithik thought about the hunting techniques he would use. The Vorthok had perfected the art of predation over millions of years. They knew how to inspire terror in their prey, how to separate the strong from the weak, and how to make the hunt last long enough to be satisfying. Quick kills were for amateurs. "Krex," he called, "prepare the intimidation broadcast. Standard format, but add details about our previous conquests. I want these Terrans to understand exactly what they face." "Yes, Commander." "Should I include images of our trophy collections?" "Excellent idea. Show them the skulls of species far stronger than they are. Perhaps they will surrender immediately and save us the trouble of hunting them down one by one." The ship continued its journey toward the Terran system, carrying 3,000 of the galaxy's most perfect predators toward what they believed would be their easiest conquest yet. In the hunting pods, warriors sharpened their claws and planned the attacks they would make on Terran cities. In the biological laboratories, scientists prepared specimens, containers, for the strongest Terrans, who would be kept alive for extended study and entertainment. None of them imagined that they were flying toward a species that had spent its entire evolutionary history not as predators, but as something far more dangerous. They were approaching a world inhabited by survivors, creatures who had learned to adapt and overcome every challenge their hostile planet could throw at them. The Vorthok had never encountered persistence hunters before. They had never faced a species that could outlast, outthink, and outadapt any enemy through sheer determination and intelligence. They had never met humans. As the Bloodfang dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system, Commander Zethak prepared to broadcast his ultimatum to Earth. He had no way of knowing that he was about to make first contact with the only species in the galaxy that had turned survival itself into an art form. Captain Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when the alarms started screaming throughout Earth's defense station. Titan. The hot liquid spilled across his uniform as he jumped from his chair and ran toward the command center. Around him, 200 crew members rushed to their battle stations with practiced efficiency. The massive orbital platform had been humanity's pride for the past 5 years. Built from asteroid mining operations and advanced Earth technology, Titan served as the first line of defense for the home planet. Its weapons could destroy incoming meteors and hostile spacecraft, while its sensors monitored everything that moved within the solar system, Report Morrison ordered as he entered the command center. Lieutenant Ben Parker looked up from his console with wide eyes. "Sir, we have a massive unidentified vessel at the edge of the system, just appeared. Out of nowhere. The thing is enormous, at least 3 miles long." Morrison felt his stomach drop. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, and it had arrived in what was clearly a warship. "Any communications from the vessel?" Morrison asked. "Yes, sir. "But you're not going to like it," said Communications Officer Lisa Chang. She was a trained xenobiologist who had been assigned to Titan specifically for first contact situations. Her hands shook as she worked her controls. "The message is being broadcast on all frequencies. I've translated it from what appears to be a mathematical language base. 8 feet tall, with 6 powerful arms, the alien had razor-sharp claws and natural armor plating that covered its entire body. Its eyes glowed with predatory intelligence, and its mouth revealed rows of deadly fangs. People of Terra, the creature spoke in perfect English, somehow translated by their computers. I am Commander Zithok of the Vorthok Empire. Your species has been selected for subjugation. You have one of your planetary rotations to surrender completely. Lay down all weapons and prepare for processing. Resistance will result in total extermination." The message ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Morrison stared at the screen, processing what he had just heard. Humanity's first contact with alien life was a demand for immediate surrender from what appeared to be a species of natural-born killers. "Sir," Parker said quietly, "I'm reading massive energy signatures from that ship. Whatever weapons it carries, they could level entire cities." Morrison activated the station's emergency protocols. Red lights flashed throughout Titan as blast doors sealed critical sections. All over the solar system, human colonies and defense stations received the same alert. Earth's small but growing space fleet began moving into defensive positions. Dr. Lisa Chang studied the alien transmission data on her screens. "Captain, I've analyzed their language patterns and cultural indicators in the message. These Vorthok appear to be a warrior society focused on conquest and domination. The way they speak suggests they view us as prey animals." "Prey animals," Morrison repeated grimly. "Well, they're about to learn that humans don't go down easy." He opened a channel to Earth Command and all defense stations. "This is Captain Morrison aboard Titan Station. We have hostile alien contact. All units prepare. For combat operations, this is not a drill." Response was immediate. The warships Defiance and Liberty began moving toward Titan's position, their crews running battle drills they had practiced for years but never expected to use. On Mars Colony, military units went to full alert. On the Moon, mining stations started evacuating civilians to underground shelters. Captain Susan Wells aboard the Defiance was the first to respond. "Jake, this is Suzanne. My ship is moving to support your position. What are we dealing with?" 8-foot-tall aliens with claws and fangs who want us to surrender or die," Morrison replied. "Their ship is 3 miles long and built for war." "Understood. We'll be there in 6 hours." Morrison turned to his security chief, Ryan Torres. The former Marine had fought in conflicts across Earth and had trained Titan's security teams for boarding actions. His face was calm, but his eyes showed the calculation of a professional soldier preparing for battle. "Ryan, if they try to board us, what are our chances?" Torres studied the alien image still displayed on the screen. "Sir, those things look built for close combat, but they're big, which means they'll have trouble in tight spaces. Our advantage will be mobility and knowledge of the station layout. Start preparing defensive positions throughout the station. Use everything we have." As Torres left to organize the defenses, Dr. Chang called Morrison over to her station. "Captain, I've been analyzing their ship design and the commander's behavior patterns. I think I understand their strategy. Tell me, they're hunters, not soldiers. Look at how their commander presented himself. He gave us a deadline, but he's clearly expecting us to either surrender immediately or fight in a way that makes us easy prey. Their ship is designed for intimidation and overwhelming force, not prolonged combat." Morrison nodded slowly. "Saying they expect a quick fight?" "Exactly. In nature, predators prefer prey that runs or fights predictably. They're not prepared for prey that thinks strategically or uses tools in unexpected ways." 2 hours later, the Vorthok ship launched, a small craft toward Titan Station. Morrison watched on his screens as the alien vessel approached. It was clearly designed for boarding operations, with cutting tools and weapons visible on its hull. Sir Parker reported, "I count 12 life forms aboard that craft, all showing the same large body signatures as their commander. "Those things," Torres muttered over the cum, "against 200 of us." The alien craft attached itself to Titan's outer hull with magnetic clamps. Cutting beams began slicing through the station's armor plating, sending showers of sparks into space. Morrison felt the vibrations through the deck as the aliens cut their way inside. "All hands, this is the captain," Morrison announced over the station's communication system. "We have hostile boarders entering through Section C7. All security. Teams to defensive positions. Remember your training. Use the station's layout to your advantage. These aliens are big and strong, but they don't know our home." The first Vorthok warrior stepped through the breach in the hull and immediately faced something it never encountered before. Instead of cowering prey, it met a carefully planned ambush. The corridor had been depressurized, and the humans— Torres fired a magnetic grappling line that wrapped around the warrior's legs. The creature's superior strength meant nothing in zero gravity as it was pulled off balance and slammed. Into the corridor wall, 2 more humans appeared from hidden positions, using cutting torches meant for metalwork to attack the alien's armor joints. The Vorthok warrior roared in anger and pain, a sound that echoed through the station's hull. It had expected terrified prey, fleeing in panic. Instead, it faced organized resistance using tools and tactics it had never seen before. More aliens pushed through the breach, but they found themselves in an environment designed to neutralize their advantages. The corridors were too narrow for them to use their full reach. Humans had removed light sources, forcing the aliens to rely on their enhanced hearing, which the humans then used against them with high-frequency sound bursts from the stations. Morrison coordinated the defense while Dr. Chang monitored the alien ship. "Captain, I'm reading energy spikes from their main vessel. I think they're surprised by our resistance." "Good," Morrison replied. "The longer we can keep them guessing, the more time our fleet has to get into position." The battle for Titan Station had begun, and Commander Zithik was about to learn his first lesson about human nature. When cornered, humans didn't behave like prey at all, and the problem was how to survive against a superior enemy using intelligence, teamwork, and every tool at their disposal. In the corridors of the station, the Vorthok warriors were discovering that their perfect predator instincts meant nothing against a species that had spent millions of years not as hunters, but as survivors who turned every disadvantage into a weapon. The battle for Titan Station had been raging for 6 hours when Captain Susan Wells brought the Defiance into weapons range of the massive alien ship. Her crew of 150 had never faced real combat before, but they moved with the calm efficiency that came from endless training drills. "Target their weapon ports," Wells ordered from her command chair. "Let's see how they like being on the receiving end." The Defiance was much smaller than the alien vessel, but it had been built with human engineering principles. Every system had backup systems, and every backup had alternatives. The ship could take tremendous damage and keep fighting, unlike the alien ship, which appeared designed for overwhelming single attacks. Wells watched as her weapons struck the alien hull. The energy beams carved deep gouges in the dark metal, but the massive ship barely seemed to notice. It was like a small dog attacking a bear. "Captain," called her weapons officer, Danny Rogers, "our attacks are having minimal effect. That ship has armor plating 3 times thicker than anything in our fleet." "Then we don't attack the armor," Wells replied. "Target their sensor arrays and communication dishes. If we can't hurt them, we'll blind them."
Right.
Meanwhile, inside Titan Station, the boarding battle had turned into something Commander Zithik had never experienced. His warriors were built for hunting individual prey or small groups. They had never faced organized resistance that treated combat like an Imagineering problem to be solved. The humans had turned their own station into a weapon against the invaders. They vented atmosphere from sections to create vacuum traps, overloaded power conduits to create electrical barriers. They even used the station's food preparation areas, turning industrial ovens into furnaces and using cooking chemicals to create toxic gases. Security. Chief Ryan Torres coordinated the defense from a hidden command post deep in the station's core. He watched security camera feeds showing his people using tactics that would have seemed impossible against such powerful enemies. In one corridor, 3 humans had created a trap using the station's artificial gravity generators. Warriors chased them into the section. The humans shut off gravity and activated magnetic fields in the walls. The aliens found themselves stuck to the metal surfaces while the humans, wearing magnetic boots, could move freely. These things are strong, but their strength works against them in zero gravity, Torres reported to Captain Morrison. They can't get leverage, and their heavy armor makes them slow to maneuver. In another section, Dr. Lisa Chang had made a discovery that changed everything. She had been studying a wounded Vorthok warrior that the security teams had managed to capture. Her medical scanner revealed something crucial about alien biology. "Captain Morrison," she called over the communication system, "I've found a weakness. Their enhanced hearing makes them vulnerable to specific sound frequencies. I can create a sonic weapon using our communication system." Within minutes, Chang had programmed the station's speakers to emit high-pitched sounds that caused the Vorthok warriors severe pain. The aliens, who had been so confident in their superior senses, now found those same senses turned against them. On Mars Colony, Colonel Matt Davis received reports of the battle and began preparing his own defenses. His military engineers studied every piece of alien technology they could see through telescope observations of the battle. They noticed that Vorthok weapons fired in straight lines with tremendous power, but little accuracy at long range. "Their weapons are designed for close-range hunting," Davis explained to his staff. "They're not built for military combat against organized resistance. We can use that." Davis ordered his troops to begin construction of defensive positions that would force the aliens to fight at ranges where human weapons were more effective. He also started analyzing the alien ship's design, looking for patterns that might reveal weaknesses. Back in space, Captain Wells discovered that the aliens were not used to fighting multiple opponents simultaneously. The Defiance was joined by the Liberty and several smaller patrol ships. Together, they began coordinating attacks that came from different directions at the same time. The alien ship's weapons were powerful, but they could only fire in one direction at a time, while the massive vessel turned to engage one human ship. The others attacked from its blind spots. It was like watching a pack of wolves bring down a much larger predator. Commander Zithik was experiencing something new in his long career as a hunter. For the first time, his prey was not behaving like prey at all. Instead of running in panic or making desperate individual attacks, the humans were working together with frightening coordination. Every time his warriors adapted to one human tactic, the humans changed their approach. When the Vorthok learned to avoid the sound traps, the humans switched to using chemical weapons. When the aliens started wearing protection against the chemicals, the humans began using their own tools and equipment as improvised weapons. In the station's engineering section, a group of humans had turned maintenance robots into combat units. The small repair machines swarmed over a Vorthok warrior like metal insects, or cutting tools finding gaps in the alien's armor. The warrior's claws were too large to effectively fight such small, fast-moving targets. Most disturbing to Zithik was how quickly human tactics spread throughout their entire species. Every successful defense technique discovered on Titan Station was immediately transmitted to human forces throughout the solar system. Within hours, all human installations were using the same countermeasures. Intelligence Officer Krek Zithik called, "Explain to me how these creatures share information so rapidly." Krek studied his scanner readings with growing confusion. "Commander, they appear to have instantaneous communication across their entire system. Every human force has access to the same tactical data within minutes of its discovery." This was completely outside Vorthok experience. In their society, individual hunters guarded their techniques jealously, sharing knowledge only with their immediate pack members. The idea of an entire species learning from each other's experiences in real time was beyond their understanding. The tide of battle began to shift when human engineers successfully reverse-engineered a piece of Vorthok technology. A damaged alien weapon had been recovered from Titan Station. Teams of scientists worked around the clock to understand how it functioned. Dr. Chang made the breakthrough when she realized that Vorthok technology was based on biological principles, rather than mechanical ones. Their weapons were grown rather than built, using organic processes that had been perfected over millions of years. It's like they never learned to think outside their natural biology, she explained to Morrison. Everything they build follows the same patterns as their hunting instincts, makes their technology powerful but predictable. Within 12 hours of capturing the first alien weapon, human factories were producing crude copies. The weapons were not as powerful as the Vorthok originals, but they could penetrate alien armor. More importantly, humans could mass-produce them using industrial techniques that the biologically oriented Vorthok had never developed. The battle reached a turning point when Captain Wells led a coordinated attack by all human ships in the system. Using tactics learned from studying pack hunters on Earth, the human vessels attacked. Like wolves bringing down prey much larger than themselves. The Defiance and Liberty attacked from opposite sides, while smaller ships struck at the alien vessels, engines, and weapon systems. Each ship retreated when the massive alien vessel turned toward it, then attacked again from a new angle when the alien ship focused on different targets. Commander Zethik realized that his hunting pack was being hunted. The humans had somehow turned the tables, using coordination and intelligence to overcome superior individual strength. For the first time in Vorthok history, the perfect predators were becoming prey. The most shocking moment came when human boarders managed to infiltrate the Bloodfang itself. Using captured alien shuttles and reverse-engineered technology, a team of human soldiers had somehow penetrated the ship's defenses and were now inside his vessel. Zithik felt something he had never experienced before, the fear that comes from being hunted by something more intelligent than yourself. Colonel Amy Brooks crouched in the stolen Vorthok shuttle as it approached the massive alien ship. Her team of 12 specialists wore armor, reverse-engineered from captured alien technology, but improved with human innovations. Each soldier carried weapons specifically designed to exploit the weaknesses Dr. Chang had discovered in Vorthok biology. Remember, Brooks whispered into her helmet microphone? We're not here to fight our way through their entire ship. We're here to turn their own vessel against them. Stay focused on the mission. Demolitions expert Tony Silva checked his equipment one final time. His pack contained explosives that would target the alien ship's organic systems, designed to spread through their biological technology like a virus through a living body. Tech specialist Kate Murphy carried computer devices that could interface with Vorthok systems. Using translation protocols developed from studying captured alien equipment, the shuttle docked with the Bloodfang, without triggering any alarms. The Vorthok had never encountered enemy forces bold enough to board their own ships during battle. Their security systems were designed to keep prey from escaping, not to prevent hunters from entering. Brooks led her team through the airlock into corridors that seemed grown rather than built. The walls had an organic texture, and strange lights pulsed along what looked like veins running through the metal. Everything about the ship felt alive, which made sense given what humans had learned about Vorthok biotechnology. This place gives me the creeps, muttered Sergeant Bill Hayes as they moved deeper into the ship. His job was to watch for enemy patrols while the specialists worked on their sabotage mission. Stay professional, Brooks ordered. Remember, this is just another engineering problem. We know how their systems work now. The team had spent days studying interrogation reports from captured Vorthok warriors and analyzing data from their damaged equipment. They knew the ship's layout, understood its biological systems, and most importantly, they knew how the aliens thought. Murphy stopped at what appeared to be a control junction, where several of the glowing veins came together. She attached her interface device and began working. I'm in their system, she reported quietly. Their computer network is more like a nervous system, can trace pathways to critical systems throughout the ship. While Murphy worked, Silva prepared his biological weapons. The explosives were designed to target the organic components that ran throughout the Vorthok ship. Once released, they would spread through the vessel's living systems like poison through blood vessels. Brooks monitored the corridor while her team worked. Through her earpiece, she could hear reports from the battle outside. Captain Morrison was coordinating the external assault, while her team sabotaged from within. The plan required perfect timing to succeed. Colonel, came Morrison's voice over the radio, we're reading massive internal activity on their ship. Whatever you're doing in there, it's working. Brooks smiled grimly. The aliens were starting to realize that their perfect predator ship had somehow become infested with the most dangerous prey they had ever encountered, deep in the ship's command center. Commander Zythik was experiencing his worst nightmare. His perfect hunting vessel was being destroyed from the inside by creatures he had considered helpless prey. The ship's biological systems were reporting failures throughout the vessel. War Leader Vex Zythik roared, "How did these creatures get aboard our ship?" Vex's scarred face showed confusion and growing fear. "Commander, our sensors show 12 small life forms moving through the ship. They appear to be using our own technology against us. Our defensive systems are not responding to commands." Zythik studied the tactical display with growing alarm. The human infestation was spreading through his ship like a disease. Wherever the creatures went, ship systems failed, weapons went offline, life support malfunctioned. Even the lights were dying as the humans sabotaged the organic networks that powered everything. "Send all available warriors to hunt them down," Zythik ordered. "These creatures must be stopped before they reach critical systems." But the humans had already reached the most critical system of all. Kate Murphy had found the ship's central nervous system, a massive organic computer that controlled every function of the vessel. Her interface device was already deep in its networks, rewriting the biological programming that made the ship function. "I've got control of their internal defenses," Murphy reported to Brooks. "I'm reprogramming their security systems to recognize Vorthok life signs as hostile intruders." Throughout the ship, automated defenses that had been designed to contain captured prey suddenly turned on the Vorthok crew. Blast doors sealed warriors away from critical areas. Defense turrets that normally fired at escaping prisoners began, targeting anyone with Vorthok biological signatures. Tony Silva had reached the ship's power core, a massive organic heart that pumped energy throughout the vessel. He began placing his biological weapons around the chamber, each one designed to shut down a different aspect of the ship's living systems. "Charges are in place," Silva reported. "When these go off, this ship is going to have the worst case of indigestion in galactic history." Meanwhile, Sergeant Hayes had encountered the first Vorthok patrol sent to hunt them down. 3 warriors moved through the corridors with their claws extended, following the scent trail left by the human intruders. They expected to find cowering prey hiding in the ship's dark corners. Instead, they found carefully prepared ambushes. Hayes had studied Vorthok psychology and knew they relied on their enhanced senses to track prey. He used that knowledge against them, creating false scent trails that led the warriors into traps. The first warrior followed a human scent into what appeared to be an empty storage chamber. The moment it entered, Hayes triggered an explosive that collapsed the ceiling, trapping the alien under tons of debris. The creature's superior strength meant nothing when it could not move. The second warrior heard its packmate's distress call and rushed to help. It found Hayes waiting with a weapon designed specifically for Vorthok anatomy. The sonic disruptor sent high-frequency sound waves directly into the alien's enhanced hearing organs, causing agony that dropped the mighty predator to its knees. Third warrior, more cautious than its companions, tried to circle around and attack Hayes from behind. But the human had prepared for this tactic too. Motion sensors hidden throughout the corridor alerted Hayes to the alien's position. Automated defense turrets that Murphy had reprogrammed opened fire on the would-be ambush. As news of the successful ambushes spread through the human team, Brooks felt a fierce satisfaction. For millions of years, humans had been hunted by creatures stronger and more dangerous than themselves. Now, they were using every survival skill their species had ever learned to turn the tables on the ultimate predators. "All teams, report status," Brooks ordered. "Murphy here. Got complete control of their computer systems. Their own ship is now working for us." Silva reporting. "Biological weapons are in place and ready to deploy. The ship's organic systems are about to have a very bad day." Hayes checking in. "Enemy patrols have been neutralized. These aliens hunt like they've never been hunted themselves." Brooks felt the ship shudder around them as Captain Morrison's fleet pressed their external attack. The combination of internal sabotage and external assault was proving too much for even the mighty Bloodfang to handle through the ship's communication system. Now under human control, Brooks could hear the growing panic among the Vorthok crew. Warriors who had conquered 17 star systems were discovering what it felt like to be prey in their own home. "Time to finish this," Brooks announced. "Murphy, take control of their weapon systems. Silva, activate your biological weapons. Hayes, prepare for extraction. We're about to show these aliens what happens when they try to hunt humans." The perfect predators were about to learn that in the vast galaxy, there was something far more dangerous than the ultimate hunter. There were ultimate survivors, and they had just made the Vorthok ship their hunting ground. The trophy room of the Bloodfang had always been Commander Zithik's pride. Hundreds of skulls from conquered species lined the walls, each one representing a world that had fallen before Vorthok's superiority, now standing among those trophies. Zethik faced something that had never happened in his long career as the galaxy's ultimate predator. He was being hunted. Colonel Amy Brooks stepped through the trophy room's entrance, reverse-engineered armor gleaming under the organic lights. Her weapon was aimed directly at Zithik's chest, and her eyes showed the calm focus of a professional soldier who had studied her enemy and found his weaknesses. "Commander Zithik," Brooks said in perfect Vorthok, using translation software her team had developed from captured alien data. "Your hunt is over." Zithik towered over the human female, his 8-foot frame built for killing. His 6 arms ended in claws that could tear through steel, and his natural armor had protected him through 100 battles. Every instinct told him that this small, soft creature should be easy prey, but those same instincts had been wrong about humans from the very beginning. "You think you can challenge me, little prey?" Zithik snarled, his fangs gleaming. "I have killed creatures 10 times your size. Your skull will look pathetic next to my real trophies." Brooks smiled, an expression that made the alien commander uncomfortable. The problem with being the ultimate predator is that you never learned what it feels like to be prey. We humans have been prey our entire evolutionary history. We know how to survive against things bigger and stronger than us. The battle began, with Zithik's lightning-fast strike, his claws cutting through the air where Brooks had been standing a split second before. But the human was no longer there. She had rolled to the side with fluid grace, her movements economical and precise. Zithak spun to follow her, but Brooks was already moving again. She used the trophy room's layout against him, ducking behind display cases and using the narrow spaces between exhibits where his larger body could not easily follow. Every move was calculated, every position chosen to minimize his advantages. The alien commander's claws shattered the skull of a Kraxan Alpha as he tried to reach the elusive human. The trophy that had once represented his greatest triumph now lay in pieces on the floor. Brooks had turned his own pride against him, using the cramped space of his trophy collection to limit his mobility. "Stand still and fight," Zithik roared in frustration. "Why would I do that?" Brooks replied, firing her weapon from behind cover. The energy beam struck Zithik's armor, but was designed to target the weak points Dr. Chang had identified. Bane shot through the alien's nervous system as the beam found gaps in his natural protection. Throughout the ship, the biological weapons Tony Silva had planted were taking effect. The Bloodfang's organic systems writhed in agony as the human design. Toxins spread through its living networks. Lights flickered and died. Atmospheric processors gasped like dying lungs. The ship that had been the pride of the Vorthok Empire was being consumed from within by human ingenuity in space around the dying vessel. Captain Morrison coordinated the final assault. The human fleet had grown as ships arrived from throughout the solar system. Earth's industrial might, once used for peaceful construction, had been turned to war production with frightening efficiency. "All ships, target their remaining weapon systems," Morrison ordered. "Don't let them get off a final shot at Earth." Captain Wells aboard the Defiance led the attack. Her ship now equipped with reverse-engineered Vorthok shields and weapons. The technology that had made the aliens seem invincible had been copied, improved, mass-produced by human factories working around the clock. The Liberty and dozens of smaller vessels followed her lead, striking the Bloodfang from every angle. The massive alien ship, designed to intimidate and overwhelm single opponents, had no defense against coordinated attacks from multiple directions. Back in the trophy room, Zithak was learning a painful lesson about human warfare. Every time he adapted to one of Brooke's tactics, she changed her approach. When he learned to predict her movements, she used his own expectations against him. Feinting in one direction before attacking from another, the human colonel fought like her entire species had evolved to fight. She was a persistence hunter, wearing down her larger opponent through superior endurance and tactical thinking. While Zithak relied on brute strength and killing instincts, Brooks used every tool at her disposal, including the environment itself. When Zithak cornered her near a display of crystalline skulls, Brooks grabbed one of the trophies and threw it at the room's organic lighting system. The chamber plunged into darkness, but her armor's night vision gave her a crucial advantage over the alien's light-adapted eyes. Zithak thrashed wildly in the darkness, his claws cutting only empty air. He could hear the human moving around him, but her soft-soled boots made almost no sound on the trophy room floor. For the first time in his life, the ultimate predator felt like prey being stalked by something he could not see. Brooks' final attack came from above, using the strength enhancement in her armor. She had climbed to the ceiling where Zithak could not reach her. Her weapon fired downward, its energy beam striking the alien commander in the back of his neck where his armor was thinnest. Zithak collapsed among the broken skulls of species he had conquered, his body paralyzed by the precisely targeted shot. He was not dead, but he was helpless, experiencing for the first time what every one of his victims had felt in their final moments. "Your empire picked the wrong species to hunt," Brooks said, standing over the fallen alien. "Humans don't give up. We don't surrender. And we never stop learning." The ship shuddered around them as Captain Morrison's fleet completed its victory. The mighty Bloodfang terror of 17 star systems was now a dying hulk drifting in Earth's solar system. Human boarding parties were securing critical sections, while technical teams prepared to tow the vessel to Earth orbit for study. Kate Murphy's voice crackled over Brooks' radio. "Colonel, I've accessed their star charts and communication logs. This ship was part of a massive empire with hundreds of vessels. Going to know what happened here." Brooks nodded grimly. "Then we'd better be ready for them." 3 days later, Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the captured alien vessel, now renamed the Terran Apex. Human engineers had repaired the ship's systems and integrated human technology with alien biotechnology. The result was a vessel more powerful than either species could have built alone. Dr. Lisa Chang presented her final report to Earth Command. "The Vorthok represent everything we thought apex predators should be. Individually powerful, perfectly adapted for hunting, with technology designed for overwhelming force. But they never learned the most important survival skill in the universe." "Which is?" asked Morrison. "How to adapt when you're not the strongest thing in the room." Humans spent millions of years surviving against creatures bigger, faster, and stronger than us. We learned to use tools to work together, to turn our environment into a weapon. The Vorthok never had to learn those skills because nothing ever challenged them. "Until now," Morrison said. Chang nodded. "Until now. We've proven that intelligence and adaptability can overcome any amount of physical superiority. The galaxy thought the Vorthok were the ultimate predators, but they were wrong. Humans aren't predators at all. We're something much more dangerous." "What's that?" "We're survivors. And now that we know we're not alone in the universe, we're going to make sure our species survives no matter what's out there." The Terran Apex powered up its engines, preparing for humanity's first journey beyond their solar system. They carried with them the knowledge that in a galaxy full of predators, the most dangerous species was often the one that looked the most helpless. Earth had sent a message to the stars. Written in the wreckage of the galaxy's most feared predators, humanity was no longer prey.